Well, we didn't do a Bob video last Tuesday, so back with 2 tracks this week to make up for it. Let's go. Hi, guys. Welcome to Lee Reacts. Hope everyone's having a good day. Bam. Hey. Huh, I know I am. We are back with Bob Dylan for our Dylan Tuesday video of the week. I'm kind of making these videos a bi-weekly thing. I'm starting to shutter some of the other bands out that I do the weekly things for, since we've basically gone through most of their stuff, and I don't want to, just keep replaying stuff or doing live cuts and stuff like that, and we could be listening to new bands and stuff like that, because I don't want to, no, what's the word, overstay my welcome either, though. So it's a tough line to walk, but we have not really, we've done a lot of Dylan, but not all of it, you know what I'm saying? So we're doing 2 more tracks from the times they are a-changin', which came out 1964, and we're doing 2 tracks off side 2. The first track, which is Only a Pawn in Their Game, and then the second track, which is oh boy, what was it, When the Ship Comes In. The first one is about the assassination. I won't say that too loud. It was about the civil rights activist Medgar Evers. Something that happened in Jackson, Mississippi, June 12th, 1963. And that's what Bob does, man, is he really does show a lot of support for the African American community and other communities too, not just his own. He was a wandering person, so he met all kinds of people, kind of like myself in a way. It's interesting, all the folks I met and encountered in my journeys, you know what I mean? So Bob's a kindred spirit. So Only a Pawn in Their Game will come up first. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps, I promise. Bob Dylan playlist up there. Here we go. Only a Pawn in Their Game, Bob Dylan. 3, 2, 1, go.
A bullet from the back of a bush took Medgar Evers' blood. A finger fired the trigger to his name. A handle hit out in the dark. A hand set the spark. 2 eyes took the aim behind a man's brain. But he can't be blamed. He's only a pawn in their game. The South politician preaches to the poor white man. You got more than the blacks, don't complain. You're better than them, you've been born with white skin, they explain. And the Negro's name is used, it is plain, for the politician's gain, as he rises to fame, and the poor white remains on the caboose of the train. But it ain't him to blame, he's only a pawn in their game.
Bob is a lyrical assassin,
The
bro,
deputy sheriffs, the soldiers, the governors get paid.
Take that back, sorry.
And the marshals and cops get the same. But the poor white man's used in the hands of them all like a tool. He's taught in his school from the start by the rule that the laws are with him.
Talk to him.
To protect his white skin, to keep up his hate, so he never thinks straight about the shape that he's in. But it ain't him to blame, he's only a pawn in their game.
Yes, both sides. Yep.
From the poverty shacks, he looks from the cracks to the tracks.
They play us
And the
against each other, so we don't play them.
in his brain, and he's taught how to walk in a pack, shoot in the back with his fist in a clinch, to hang and to lynch, to hide neath the hood, to kill with no pain, like a dog on a chain. He ain't got no name, but it ain't him to blame, he's only a pawn in their game. Today Medgar Evers was buried from the bullet he caught. They're lowering him down as a king. But when the shadowy sun sets on the one that fired the gun, you'll see by his grave, on the stone that remains, carved next to his name, his epitaph plain. Only a pawn in their game.
Damn. Jesus.
Oh, the time will
was
come
rough,
up
bro.
when the winds will stop
ship
and
comes
the
in.
breeze will cease to be breathing, like the stillness in the wind before the hurricane begins. The hour that the ship comes in, and the sea will split and the ships will hit, and the sands on the shoreline will be shaking, and the tide will sound and the waves will pound, and the morning will be a breaking. The fishes will laugh as they swim out of the path, and the seagulls they'll be smiling, and the rocks on the sand will proudly stand the hour that the ship comes in. And the words that are used for to get the ship confused will not be understood as the spoken, for the chains of the sea will have busted in the night and be buried at the bottom of the ocean. A song will lift as the mainsail shifts and the boat drifts onto the shoreline, and the sun will respect every face on the deck
Lights are messing with
the
my
hour
eyes.
that the ship comes in, and the sands will roll out a carpet of gold for your weary toes to be a-touching, and the ship's wise men will remind you once again that the whole wide world is watching.
Every time.
Oh, the foes will rise with a sleep still in their
Damn.
eyes, and they'll jerk from their beds and think they're
That was
dreaming.
rough.
But they'll pinch themselves and squeal, and they'll know that it's for real the hour that the ship comes in. And they'll raise their hands, saying, we'll meet all your demands, but we'll shout from the bow, your days are numbered. And like Pharaoh's tribe, they'll be drowned in the tide, and like Goliath, they'll be conquered.
Yeah. Well, I see, like, I probably said this in the last video, and the one before that. I see why people were so mad when he went from acoustic to electric. Man, because he does that shit so well. Like, there is very few artists that are in the same echelon as Dylan, just in his musical, like, alone. Not even just the lyrics, but the simplicity of just the acoustic guitar and, you know, the harmonica in the second song when it's used. He just knows the exact right moment to do every last little detail of his song. Like, his songwriting chops from such a young age were so finely tuned and nuanced that it's honestly kind of scary. I'm not gonna lie, man. He saw the world in so many different, like, not in so many different ways, but he in such a different way than most people, I'd say. Because he was a traveled man from a young age, you know, like he was all over the place, meeting people, getting into trouble, doing stuff. Like, unfortunately, we live in a world where there's laws that I don't know. I think they're too strict on some things and not strict enough on others. I think people need to be able to go out and fuck up and make mistakes. Obviously, not criminal ones. I mean, yeah, criminal ones too, I guess, but that's a weird line to kind of cross too, because what crime is okay, what crime isn't. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's more of a point of, I think like people should be able to, I don't know, go out and explore and experiment and do stuff, and be it drugs or partying or, you know, going to church. It doesn't matter. Like, whatever they want to do, like, let them do it, you know, as long as it doesn't interfere with someone else's ability to do the same. I think that's like the golden rule more than anything, you know. But Bob saw the world in such a different way, and I'm glad that he speaks up for these things, because back then, to speak out about such things, it's not like it was like a what's the word? It's not like your career's gonna end or anything like that. But Bob, it seems like from the very beginning, had the African American communities back, and he wrote music about their stories, and he gave life to. He breathed life into some of their stories with music, you know, and it's just like Hurricane. You know, Hurricane was an interesting track as well, like that he kind of does this autobiographical sort of thing, you know, and he does it so well, and he makes you feel every ounce of pain that's associated with the, how far are we into it? 12 minutes, the assassination of the civil rights leader, Eugene, right? Or I don't want to say his name wrong, my apologies. Medgar Evers. Where'd Eugene come from? You weirdo. Jesus. But yeah, the assassination of Medgar and what happened with that. He does a great job of telling that story, but he also tells you the story of everyone that's a pawn in their game, because we all are, like it or not. You're a pawn in their game. If you pay taxes and you work a job or anything like that, like, you're a pawn in the game. The only way you're not is if you live off the grid, and even at that point, it's a lot of work just to be off the grid, like a ton of work, you know. So sometimes it's, you know, better to live with the devil that you know than the devil that you don't. And I don't know. I'm not a big fan of this digital wasteland that we live in. As you guys know, I say this all the time. I'm more of an outside kind of guy, and I like, I don't know, getting my hands dirty. I like the outdoors, like I always have. I was raised on a horse farm, you know. But music and technology have almost become interlinked now, and I think that's not a good thing. I feel like music should be its own separate thing. Obviously, technology is always going to be a part of it, and it's always going to be used to do certain things. But now we're at a tipping point where we have apps that you can download to make songs for you. Artists feel like that they're not going to be affected by this. Maybe not today. Maybe not tomorrow. Soon, though. Soon, it's going to really affect you. And we're not gonna know what the fuck to do, you know what I'm saying? And we're already Pandora's box is open. Like, there's no closing it now. The only way we can do is try to contain it, but it's kind of scary, the world that we live in now, because I don't know what I'm gonna wake up to tomorrow. It's gonna be a whole nother thing, you know. And I try not to get too doom gloomer or whatever into the news and stuff, but man, I look at like the leaps and bounds and I see the good that we can use it for, but at the same time, the bad, it's just like they never stopped to think if they should. They just were thinking about could, to quote somebody very, very famous from Jurassic Park, Jeff Goldblum, I think. But I don't know, man. I'm off track, but it's great that Bob is such a, I don't know, an ally to the African American community, because there wasn't that many voices speaking out for them back then, especially in 1964. There definitely were some, but not enough, you know, and Bob was one of them. And I love that he speaks out about such things, and he calls them out and calls them like he sees them. He's not like really pointing fingers, because he brought up, you know, the poor white farmer that's being a pawn in their game too. It's like, And there isn't. That's why they make such a big deal about color and sexuality and race and gender and and religion and stuff. It's because it's a way to separate you from somebody else, and they separate us, and then we've got these artificially created divides that, I don't know. Eventually, it crosses off enough people that we're just all isolated and alone in our own little bubble, and then we just get depressed, and then we just want to leave and end it all, you know. And it sucks that that's where we've come to. You know, I feel like the world was a different place 30 years ago, and I don't think that this creation that we've unleashed is a very good thing, to be honest. And I'm probably gonna get flagged and demonetized for saying this, but it's the truth, and that's how I feel, you know. And I wonder, you know, I want Bob to write an album about nowadays, you know, because I feel like we need that. He's had a movie come out. He needs to write an album. I know he doesn't have the juice anymore. That's according to him. But I don't know. I think we need it. But yeah, if you guys have any other recommendations from this album, I'm totally game. Sorry, I kind of got off track there, but that song inspired a lot. And the second one, it was a very good acoustic Bob Dylan song. I don't know what it was about though, so I didn't really get a. Okay, so I didn't get a connection with it. So Joan Baez states in her documentary film No Direction Home that the song was inspired by a hotel clerk who refused to allow Dylan a room due to his unwashed appearance. He was not famous outside of the folk movement at this time. The song then grew into a sprawling epic allegory about vanquishing the powers that be. Another inspiration was a song called Pirate Jenny. Interesting. There's a whole thing about as Pirate Jenny dreams of the destruction of all her enemies by a mysterious ship. So Dylan envisages the neophobes being swept aside in the hour when the ship comes in. Dylan's former girlfriend, Susie Rotolo, recalls that her interest in Brecht was certainly an influence on him, which I guess that was whoever Brecht is. Thanks, Wikipedia. See, I get so lost in it. The lyrics and the meter are similar, remarkably similar to the first 6 stanzas of the Egyptian Great Hymn to Aten, written around 1500 BC, which celebrates the rising sun. The lyrics include biblical references such as the drowning of Pharaoh and his people in the Red Sea and the defeat of Goliath. Well, damn, I didn't catch all that. I'm not going to lie, and I'm very glad that I read that, because now I want to listen to that song again. Because I guess I was kind of wrapped up in the first one still, but I can tell you that harmonica when it hit in that second song, damn, that shit hurt, bro. Like, he just knows, like I said, he's not even just with the lyrics, but he's just got pinpoint accuracy of when he brings in these emotional crescendos, basically, and they just, I don't know, man, they beat down my defenses very quickly, and can't get enough of it. And I think I'll leave it at that. Thank you for watching, guys. As always, Bob Dylan, man, does he bring out a side of me or what? He really does, and I love it. I mean, I really do. So thanks for watching. And like I said, if you have any other recommendations by Bob or from this album, any album in general, I'm game. Let me know. Talk to me. And yeah, if you got this far, use the word bites in your comment, and I'll know you were paying attention. Watching you.